What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to round 3, the conference finals for the Eastern Conference for the NBA playoffs. For those who've noticed, I didn't get a chance to release the second round video just because of how the playoffs worked this year. The East, they started playing round 2 before the West did, so it was a little weird. It was a little too tight. So we are just going to go over the second round, and then we'll get into our predictions.
We're not the same. Been here a long time. I don't hold shit.
I don't see the Raptors winning this. I think the Celtics are probably my favorite to come out of the East. I just think they're a really good, well-rounded team with a lot of young talent. Jason Tatum's a dog. Marcus Smart's been playing unreal. And then, of course, you got Kemba Walker and Jaylen Brown. Gordon Hayward's injured, so he's not even on the roster right now, and they're still lighting it up.
I still have faith in the Raptors, but the Raptors really need to tighten things up. I think they will probably take this series in 7. They'll probably take it all the way to 7.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
I did post on my IG, right at the start of the series. I have Celtics in 6. Did catch a bit of backlash from some Homer Toronto fans there, but I'm hoping to make a couple bills off that. I'm taking Celtics in 6. I like Miami. I think, like Denver of the East, they are a sneaky team. Man, if it was the Heat and the Celtics, I will say that Celtics are my pick to come out of the East versus the 4 teams that are left. But I think the Heat would be the one team that would give them the best run for their money.
Okay.
I think they have shooters.
They do.
I think you have a dog in Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Adebayo is unreal.
Yeah.
They're actually a good, solid defensive team, and they play the right scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Heat. I'm going to take them in 7.
Take them in 7?
Yeah, I want to say 6, but it's Giannis. I gotta give him those games.
People have started to kind of figure out how Giannis is playing, and it's he doesn't really have any post moves. He's not really working the ball with any dribble moves. Usually it's just a Euro step from half court to a dunk.
Yeah.
So
which is pretty OP, but I mean
very, very OP. But it's you get yourself positioned right.
Yeah.
You get somebody who's a good lockdown defender who kind of keeps him from moving, and it gets a little harder for him to score.
He does not want to
again, your defensive player of the year. If you've got somebody who's as hot as Jimmy out there on the court, it should be your sole job to be you know what, everybody back off. I've got him.
Yeah.
I'm guarding this guy.
Yeah. He's in contention to win MVP this year also. Mm-hmm. That's just not MVP behavior. If you're not actually willing to do anything on the court to get the win, to get the W, then what are you doing?
Honestly, if Giannis doesn't turn it around and the Bucks don't start playing like they really want it, I can see the Heat taking it in 6.
Yeah. Let's kick it off. So we have the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Man. Obviously, as a Toronto fan, wanted to see Toronto there. But, pushed to a Game 7. I'm thinking that, that bubble atmosphere, has definitely played a factor. Because if you go to any Raptors game, Raptors home fans add at least 5 to 10 points. They're going to give you that just in momentum easily. But at the end of the day, the Raptors outplayed themselves. They were making silly mistakes. They turned over the ball way too much.
Insane amount of times.
Anytime they got a turnover from Boston, it was rarely utilized. I think Boston scored 31 points off of turnovers.
Yeah, it was 17 turnovers,
And then Toronto scored, I think, 20, maybe less than that. And it's you got to capitalize on those mistakes. Boston clearly was. Toronto just, and then obviously the elephant in the room that is Siakam. And,
that was tough.
That was tough to watch because after Kawhi left, everyone's Siakam, he's gonna be the guy, he's gonna get there. And you know what? Yeah, the guy didn't show up. The whole series basically. But to be fair, a lot of people were saying that about Kyle Lowry a few years ago. So you know what? Let's give the guy some time.
Yeah.
He's got signed that 5-year deal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and like
he's gonna improve.
You spoke about Kyle Lowry, like I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Like people were saying, just ripping on Kyle Lowry, like not even a Raptors fan, and I did not like Kyle Lowry just because I just didn't think that his compete level was there. I just didn't think like he was as concerned about maintaining like the physicality. Kyle Lowry, even though, again, I'm not a Raptors fan, is probably one of my favorite players in the league because of the heart.
Yeah.
He will take a charge by LeBron in an All-Star game. And it's just like, okay, man, you don't need to do that, but, like, the heart is there. He just wants to win, which I love. Siakam, that's tough, man. Like, and maybe he does become that guy. He's still fairly young.
Yep.
But I think he is a really good number 2 on a championship team. Obviously, we saw that last year. Like, you need another. You just need another guy sometimes in the room that's a killer. That's going to go out and be like, no, this is my bucket. I think you have shades of that on the Raptors in different guys. I think, Kyle Lowry, I think what was in game 5 or 6, he just shot the lights out from 3.
Yeah, that was game 6. Yeah, they forced.
Was unreal. Like, he's not that guy, but if he needs to in a game, you can count on him to take it over.
No, it's true.
Freddie, I think, can light it up.
Yeah.
But you don't have that consistent guy. Again, I think Siakam is a great number 2 on a championship team.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate they missed out on this year. I do think that whoever won that series was going to go on to the finals. I like both those teams. I did predict the Celtics in 6. Obviously, they didn't get that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. When it comes to the Celtics, I think, and they don't even have Gordon Hayward. I think they, are really deep when it comes to scoring. They have a good bench.
Yeah.
Great defensive players. Marcus Smart, first team all defense. This year, I think he's kind of as a Clippers fan, I can acknowledge that Marcus Smart is a better version of Patrick Beverley, but I think they're kind of cut from the same sort of cloth.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're doing what Marcus Smart is doing and you're performing, by all means, man, talk your shit.
Yeah.
Do that stuff. But I think that's the irk factor with me for Pat Bev, because you're the last game you dropped like 4-2-2 or 4-2-4 something
2 points,
ridiculous, and it's like, man, like, but I know and I think Marcus Smart's like this as well, except he can score a bit more, but like I think those 2 players are really good at setting the tempo of the game. And then when it comes to the Miami Heat, I think a large majority of their team is that player. Jimmy Butler, kind of leading the pack, is, you look at, you're a Pokemon guy, right? Yep.
So you look at, like, the evolution of, like, the 3 different Pokemons or whatever. I don't really know it that well, but, like, Pat Bev is the smallest one. Then it's Marcus Smart. And then I think it's Jimmy Butler. They're all sort of cut from that same cloth. They're the dogs. They're going to go out. They're going to be a pest. They're going to annoy you. And each one is probably going to score more and do a bit more on the court than the last.
Fair.
So now you have a team, like I said, that's very defensive oriented, very kind of killer mentality that's going to go at you against the Boston Celtics, who have proven that they can score. I like the Miami Heat. I think they're a really interesting team. Similar to the Raptors, I think that they are just one piece away. Maybe the Raptors are a bit of a higher piece away, like a number 1 piece away. I think Jimmy Butler can be a number 1 on a championship winning team. Not really sure. And then you've got a guy in Bam. I just don't know who your 3rd guy is. Maybe it's a Tyler Herro.
Yeah, I mean, Herro's been shooting out the gym. Herro, again, he's 20 years old, but he's not playing like he's 20 years old. He's playing like he's been here. He's playing like he's done it already.
Yeah.
He's staying calm. He's staying cool. He's hitting big time shots that, like, that's what his team needs to swing that momentum in their favor.
Yeah.
I think the matchups with Boston and the Heat is going to be a little bit better. You're going to have Jimmy that's going to be like, you know what, Tatum's going off tonight. Don't worry, I'm sticking to
That's
Tatum.
my guy,
I got him. Don't worry about him. And then I think, like you said, the physicality of like Jimmy Butler and that like go. I think that's really gonna play into that series there, especially if he is always on Tatum. Yeah. And then you're gonna have other guys. You know, like, hopefully Jaylen Brown isn't as streaky anymore, and he's like gonna be a little more consistent and whatnot. And I think Hayward is coming back. I think they said.
I think so. Yeah.
That series, so it will be a different ball game. They may need to adjust to have like a game or two. They might give to Miami just on making adjustments to having Hayward back in rotation because they played this entire series without him.
Well, and that's the thing that people are talking about too, right? Like it's when you don't need to share the ball as much, then there's more points to go around. Sometimes, while yes, it's great to have a bunch of all-star players, sometimes less is more.
Yep.
You know, if you need to share the ball, if Gordon's got to get his 20, and you know, Tatum's got to get his 20, Brown's going to get his 15 to 20.
Yep.
You know, Smart has been great, but like he's going to be on the bench if Gordon Hayward comes back, right? So Kemba's got to get his 15 to 20. He's another guy that's kind of had a bit of a spotty second round there.
Yeah.
So he's got to start, you know, figuring it out from his end. Even if he's just going to facilitate, that's fine, but excel on that end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably on Boston for a win. I'm gonna say Boston in 6. I think that's a safe bet. I wouldn't be surprised if it got to 7. Game 7 scare me. I don't like Game 7s because anything can happen.
Love Game 7.
No, they're scary.
The heat.
No.
The spirit, the drive out there. Sick.
So I'm gonna say Boston Celtics in 6 games.
Okay.
What do you got?
I'm going to go the opposite. Okay. I'm going to say the Miami Heat in 6 games.
Wow. And so, like, what does it for you? Because, I mean, they're very similar, but they have their differences. So you got Brad Stevens and Eric Spoelstra, you know, 2 great coaches.
Yeah.
You know, you got some star players, star small forwards, and Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum. You know, I think this is a point we didn't really talk about. I think the biggest weakness of the Celtics is their center position. And I think Miami's second best position is their center position.
Yeah,
and,
they got a lot of good bigs.
Yeah.
A lot of good bigs.
And even in their depth, you know, you got Crowder, you got Iguodala, you know, a finals MVP right there. You know, a vet in Goran Dragic, Tyler Herro, as we mentioned, Duncan Robinson. So what does it for you for Miami?
You know what? I think it's just going to all boil down to experience with this one. You know, like you said, you've got the vets on there that are going to show the new young guys who haven't been here before how to get it done. They're going to show them, you know, the type of plays you should be making. You know, not to be forcing things and let things just kind of come to them. And I think Miami has been very good at like controlling like the pace of like games and keeping things like in their favor and whatnot. And you know, once Miami figures out a way to shut you down, like the way they shut down the Bucks, they run with that. Yeah. So if they find a way to stop the Celtics and just keep guys like in check, it's done. It's over.
That'd be crazy seeing Miami get to the finals because really they weren't even supposed to. I mean, they're competitive enough to make the playoffs. I don't think that if you ask at the start of the season. Or if you told somebody at the start of the season, hey, Miami Heat's going to be in the NBA Finals, they'd be like, no, you're lying. Yeah. It's going to be the Bucks. It's going to be the Raptors. Yeah. It's going to be, you know, the Celtics or even the Sixers. So it'll be interesting, and I think they're a 5 seed. No, they would be a 6 seed, I think, because Boston and Philly were 4 and 5 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be crazy, seeing a 6 seed in the finals. So I got Celtics in 6. You got Heat in 6.
Yep.
So there you have it. Those are our Eastern Conference finals predictions. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment down in the section below. Are either of us right? Do you think it's going to be a sweep on either end? I highly doubt it at this level. I don't really think that there's going to be a sweep. But let us know your predictions. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, we here, I'm back, we chill.
Oh, wow, Tobias just dropped 40 on me, now I gotta go see him in the cafeteria. It's like, again, that would never happen. Never dropped 40. Yeah.